Welcome back. As you know, I'm Eli, the computer guy. Can you hear me now? Oh, Lordy. I sat there. I gave you my heart. I gave you my soul for like 15 minutes. And for some reason, the video is muted. Anyways, welcome to the world of Eli, the computer guy. I can teach you artificial intelligence. Talking into a smartphone for 15 whole minutes? That might be a bit of a bridge too far. Anyways, I did want to talk about this topic. I am back to talk about this topic again because I actually do think it's important. China is pushing forward with RISC-V chips. If you don't know what a RISC-V chip is, this is an open source CPU processor architecture, right? The idea is just like Linux is open source or Arduino is open source, that basically they're coming up with these architecture designs for producing CPUs and other types of processors that basically anybody can use. Now, if you'd followed me for any length of time, people were asking me about RISC-V a few years ago, and to be honest, I didn't give half a crap. Right, and again, not to be snarky about RISC-V or anything else, but as I've said many times before in the technology world, right, there are winners in this world, and then there are the companies nobody ever talks about, right? So if you take a look at processors, you have the x86, or if you have the Intel processors, you have the ARM processors, and then RISC-V was like, yep, this is another architecture design system. But the thing is, right, the rent taking that Intel was doing and the rent taking that ARM was doing was not so cost prohibitive, I think, to really force people to look for other architecture styles. So basically my argument is that RISC-V was kind of like, you know, the third mover, right? That they basically just were not going to be successful, right? You look at the mobile operating system world, you have iOS, you have Android, right? Nobody ever talks about Palm OS, right? I had friends of mine that used Palm OS. They loved Palm OS. Nobody cared. Nobody cared, right? Windows, right? Remember when Windows came out with their last version of the smartphone? Those were actually pretty good. There was actually a lot of arguments for them, right? They were designed well. They were plastic, so you didn't have to worry about breaking them if you dropped them. There were a lot of great stuff. But here's the thing, right? You had iOS and you have Android. Anything else, nobody cared about it. So when it came to RISC-V, that's basically what my thoughts were. It was just like, I mean, it's fine, it's great, whatever. If you want to use it, but I don't think anybody's going to care about it. Well, the curious thing is, since then and now, the politicians in my country have lost their fucking minds, right? The politicians in the United States believe that we should tell China that their civilization has gone far enough technologically. Dear China man, if you go any farther, we're gonna be a little concerned about that. So you should just go back to the rice paddy. That's basically what our politicians are saying. And yeah, the Chinese don't like that so much, right? So we've been putting a lot of export controls on China. Everything from the GPUs, for like NVIDIA GPUs that you've probably heard about, all the way down to things like operating systems. I don't think they can buy Windows theoretically anymore, to the lithography systems. So the systems that actually are able to do manufacture processors from ASML, trying to do export controls and those types of things. And so basically China is in this issue where they are the factory for the world. They are either, you know, the second biggest economy in the world, or maybe the biggest, depending on how you do the math or whatever else. And basically we're telling them that they need to stop making progress forward in the world of technology. And so, yeah, they don't care. They just don't care. So they're moving forward. And so one of the things you have to think about with options, right? There's options in life. If you can buy Intel CPUs, is it worth your time to produce a different type of CPU? Probably not, right? If you can get Intel and ARM, is it worth your time? No. But if you can't access Intel and you can't access ARM and you're having problems with all these other types of technology, when does creating your own hardware really become the only option on the table? It's not even an option. It's what you really have to do. And so that is where China's pushing forward, and that's where you see them producing AI chips and AI accelerators and a lot of interesting stuff in the hardware world. And so what it looks like they've decided to do is start pushing forward forward with RISC-V. And so what's interesting with RISC-V, again, this is an open source hardware standard, right? It is globally, internationally recognized. And so one of the big pushes that we've been noticing in this whole China-US AI war is that China is pushing open source. Open source available, will sell to anybody who wants it. And the United States is pushing proprietary, closed source, we'll only sell to the people that we like. And so in the RISC-V world, this kind of makes sense to all of that, of China coming in and saying, look, we are creating these processors because we have to create the processors. Not only will we sell you the processors, but if you want to be able to produce your own processors, if you're able to do that, you can take everything that we've learned and go do that. And that's, I don't know. That seems like a good way to go. But anyways, if we take a look at this, so it is coming from the South China Morning Post. So there's probably a bit of propaganda in here, but it's always propaganda. China's tech self-sufficiency drive reaches new milestone with powerful RISC-V chips. The Xiangshan high-performance processor is the latest effort from China to push boundaries with RISC-V architecture. China's ambitions to cut its reliance on foreign semiconductor technology achieved a notable milestone this week with the launch of two powerful chips based on the open source RISC-V architecture. Xiangshan, a high-performance processor unveiled by the Chinese Academy of Sciences in Beijing on Thursday, is the latest effort to push the boundaries with RISC-V architecture. The move followed the recent unveiling of the latest RISC-V-based chip by Alibaba Group Holdings research arm, Damo Academy, signaling a coordinated national push to develop homegrown computing power to counter U.S. export controls. This is also going to be one of the interesting things, but again, with this whole U.S. versus China AI war, is, China plans the work, and then they work the plan. They're like, hey, let's create a plan, and then let's do that plan. Let's see how it goes, and then modify plans going into the future. That's how China does things. You know how America does things? That's how we do things. China works the plan. We go. Anyways, so it is curious with this. Again, if you have the Chinese government pushing this, if you have the Chinese society pushing this forward, how far can they get? How quickly? Again, like if you look at ARM, so again, for a lot of the kids out there, you look at ARM processors nowadays, again, you look at something like a MacBook or whatever, and you're like, oh, of course, ARM. Right? I remember when ARM was crap. And Intel came out with the Atom processors, and we all assumed Intel would crush ARM with their Atom processors. Now, nobody remembers Atom processors anymore, and ARM is a competitor to Intel, and Intel is spiraling the drain. So it is an interesting thing to just consider. It's like how quickly could RISC-V come up to speed if China is really pushing it? And they convince other people to back it too. Let's see here. The XuanTie C950, the latest flagship in Alibaba's XuanTie RISC-V series, was introduced to the company's annual ecosystem conference in Shanghai on Tuesday. Designed for high-performance task and cloud computing and AI computing, the C950 CPU core was said to be the most powerful of its kind globally. Now, what does that actually mean? Who the hell knows? But one of the points that I would make out is, we talk about China being behind the United States. That's the big thing, right? Trump or Biden, any of these jackasses, like China is so far behind. But when we talk about it, the important thing to understand is they're only a few years behind. Depending on who you want to listen to, they're anywhere between 1 to 5 years behind us. So they're not 20 years behind. It's not like the United States is dealing with 2026 technology and China is dealing with 2006 technology. It's not like they're dealing with Pentium 4s and we're dealing with whatever, right? The important thing to realize is they're only theoretically a few years behind. And again, with these RISC-V processors. And so if they can get the performance they need out of these RISC-V processors, at what point can they really start breaking their requirements on the technology that we offer? The perfect example here is my two MacBooks, right? So this is a 2.5, 3-year-old M2 MacBook Pro. And that is a literally brand new M5 MacBook Pro with 128 gigs of RAM. That is about the best MacBook Pro you can buy. The only thing I didn't spec out entirely was the 8 gigs of storage, just because I don't need that much storage. Otherwise, 128 gigs of RAM, nano screen, Wi-Fi 7, the whole 9 yards. But one of the things you'll notice is this is my daily driver. When I do videos, I almost have this computer in front of me because this is what I use. And the reason is because it's fine. Because it's fine. It is more than fine. This is a beautiful machine that just works really, really well. The reason that I bought that is for when I do my classes, again, when I do Silicon Dojo classes, when I'm running large models, I can run a 120 billion parameter model on this thing. When I'm doing architecture, since it's unified memory, I can run a crap ton of virtual machines, the whole 9 yards. So basically, I'm using this so that when I'm in class, people don't have to see me do the Eli dance, all the time as I wait for a response from a model, right? But the reality is that is where the brand new, that's what's happening with a brand new computer, and I'm actually using the 2.5, 3-year-old computer. And so again, that's the important thing to be thinking about with this whole RISC-V thing. It's like, well, RISC-V isn't as advanced as ARM or Intel. But again, from a practical standpoint, if you are actually using technology, if you care more about computers than their fucking bezel size, do you need literal cutting edge, right? Oh, let's see here. The open source project is seen as China's best hope for achieving self-sufficiency in chip design, reducing reliance on Intel's x86 and ARM's namesake architecture, which, yep, is true. At the Beijing event, CAS also launched Ruyi, a native operating system tailored specifically for the architecture, aiming to strengthen ecosystem development around RISC-V chips, an aspect seen as key choke point in the wider adoption of the architecture. The Ruyi system was also able to provide native operating system support for RVA23, a standardized baseline profile that guarantees new RISC-V chips supporting specific set of advanced features like vector processing. According to CAS, industry insiders said the open chip architecture was catching up with x86 and ARM in hardware performance, but still lagged in terms of its software ecosystem. Quote, the hardware foundation in place, the next step in the maturity of the software ecosystem, which has become a key bottleneck for industrialization of the RISC-V chips. So again, plan the work the plan. So not only are they coming up with the RISC-V chips, but now they're coming up with a specific operating system fully optimized for those RISC-V chips. And this is where we go back to, again, if you're a technology professional 20 or 30 years ago, right, when you're going to build out your data center, when you're going to build out your server room, right, many times you would have to figure out the entire software, hardware stack, how everything came together, and then basically buy based off of that. So now, if they have if they convince people to go with RISC-V, and then once they've convinced people to go with RISC-V, then really the only operating system to go with is Ryu or whatever the hell they come up with. Then notice how they start eating away at the competitive advantage that the United States has in a very sensible way, right? It just kind of makes sense. And this is where, again, I get so frustrated with what the United States is doing with this whole AI war horse crap, where we're making it harder to get our technology. We're making it more expensive to get our technology. And we're just making it a complete pain in the ass. If you look at China, so much of what they're doing, right? Look, they're producing things that are open source. Their models are open source. Their hardware is open source. You can see what they're doing. They are selling to anybody who wants to buy. You got money, they sell you the shit, right? And so, as I've talked about before, if you're a CTO, if you're a CIO in Argentina, what is your risk tolerance to the insanity of a U.S. administration? Again, whether it's the Trump administration doing whatever he's doing, whether it was the Biden administration literally wanted to do export controls on models, on files. Biden was so out of his mind. He thought he could do an export control on models and make it a felony offense if you helped an adversarial nation with their artificial intelligence projects, right? That's how insane Biden was. Again, you got Trump doing what he's doing, but then you got Bernie Sanders and AOC. They're trying to shut down, do a moratorium on all AI data centers, federal, in the entire United States. None of these people know what the fuck is going on, right? And so again, if you're in Argentina, you're a CTO in Argentina, you look at what's going on in the United States, you look at what's going on in China, whose stack do you want to build on? Whose stack has a level of risk that you can tolerate? So anyways, RISC-V architecture, I'll be damned. I never really thought I'd be talking much about it. Kind of figured it was going to go the way of the Palm OS. But hey, you know, macro forces. So what do you think about this? Put your thoughts down below. Do remember to do these videos in order to support Silicon Dojo, free hands-on technology education that empowers you to do whatever the hell it is you want to do. In Asheville, North Carolina and Durham, North Carolina, we have a class coming up on OpenAI API literally tomorrow. If you're interested and can attend, you can go to silicondojo.com to see what the schedule of classes are. If you want to support my project, there's a donor box link down below. And with that, see y'all later.